While I have some guests at Candid With Candy for obvious reasons, some ask me what's so special about themselves when I approach them to come to my show. Well, if you have a purpose bigger than yourself, even if it means it will affect only a few lives positively, I'll gladly have you at my show. Because at Candid With Candy, these are the people I would like to celebrate and promote. My next guest is a part of a small team that is dedicated to the research and studies to uplift and empower the deaf community in Meghalaya, India. There are over 3,000 people who will benefit from this in Meghalaya alone. She's always ready to volunteer, to interpret, and be a mediator between a hearing person and a deaf person using sign language. We need more people like you, Adele. Bravo! All the way from Shillong, Meghalaya, please welcome Adele Isaacson WAHLANG. On a side note, deaf people are not afraid to be called disabled or deaf. In fact, they are proud of it. They don't want your pity. What they want is respect, equal opportunities, and inclusion like everybody else. If this is your first time watching Candid With Candy, my name is Candy, your host for the show. I hope you enjoy and don't forget to subscribe. Hi Adele, how are you?
Hello, Candy. I'm fine, thank you.
So the first question is, I'm very interested to know, how was it growing up with so many siblings, right? What are your memories like?
So I was born and brought up in a family of 7 siblings, and I'm the 5th amongst them. It's been a blessing actually to have this many siblings. And and first and foremost, I think I'm so grateful for my parents, my mom and my dad, for bringing us up in the best way possible. When I grew up, or while I grew up with my other siblings, I think I learned a few lessons. Just having this many siblings, I've learned quite a number of lessons. So I think first lesson would be sharing. We share, and we are there for each other. We have each other's back. I know I have someone whom I can lean on. See, I'm the 5th among my siblings, so I have my elder sisters and my elder brothers, and they are the persons whom I can really lean on or whom I can count on. We share our work, our household chores and all that. We divide and we divide our work, so it makes it so much easier for us to continue doing the work at home.
Any examples, incidents that you have fond memories of as you guys were growing up?
So you see, I already have 7 siblings. So apart from my 7 siblings, I have my brother-in-law and my sister-in-law or my sister-in-law. So there comes another family or another member coming in the family. So our family is like expanding. So I remember one time when we went out on a trip to Calcutta, 14 of us all together. Imagine the chaos, and with the kids having my nieces around. So the chaos, it's quite chaotic. So we went on a trip to Calcutta by train. We had to have each other's back and see that none of us gets lost or get lost in the crowd, So then my dad had followed the coolie, and the coolie was very fast. He walks very fast. I was carrying my niece, and I had a bag, and I had a handbag on my shoulder. So I was carrying and I was running behind. And then there were these stairs that were coming down the railway station. So I could see my dad he had already reached right in front. So when the stairs came in, I couldn't see my dad anymore. And then when I reached the down floor, I didn't see where my dad was. I walked and I walked and I walked. I didn't see my dad. I almost got lost actually in that trip. So I walked ahead and I almost reached the end of the train, the end of the train, and I could see people are just beginning to become lesser and lesser. And it's kind of scary to see people around in the station and how they ogle or they stare at you with those eyes, and they look at you from head to toe. Then alas, I saw my family.
And at that time, there were no cell phones, when you were...
No cell phones that time.
There's never a dull moment in the family.
No. And when we go on trips, we go crazy.
Thanks for sharing that experience with us. Let's move over to your father now, right? Your dad has been, a big influence, I'm sure, not only to you, but your most of your siblings. And, I also know that, you lost him many years ago.
Yes.
So just describe to us, what kind of a person your father was.
So my dad is my father's name is John Elvin Isaacson, and he was born and brought up in Chikradapur, Jharkhand. It's a big railway colony, and he is born of parents who are Anglo-French and Scottish, Irish Scottish. My dad is a very outgoing person. He has a number of hobbies that he loves, not only that he enjoys, that he's passionate about, like football, like athletics. He's also very talented in art. He's an artist. Basically, he's an artist. He loves poetry. He loves gardening. He enjoys the company of meeting and talking to people.
So I also believe that, he was actively involved with children, I think, especially in the parish.
When my dad and my mom got married, so they came down to Shillong and settled in Shillong. And my dad was then employed in Northeastern Hill University. My dad, having the personality of an extrovert, enjoys the company of meeting people and communicating. So he has this very important key factor or key trait, that is communication. And he would always stand up for what is right. So when he was working in Nehu, Northeastern Hill University, he would counsel the youth, he would guide them, he would instruct them, in various fields, be it relationships, be it anything actually, education. He had also saved a number of youths from being dropouts. This is also one thing that I remember he would come and tell us. Then another active part when my dad played was in the church. It also organized Christmas programs. This Christmas program was especially for the underprivileged.
Whatever little I know of you so far, I think all those traits that you just mentioned about your father is something that I definitely see in you today, in the way you're trying to make a difference, and the way you're trying to be useful, to not only your own family, but, the community, the society. We reap what we sow, right? And
Right.
your father has really sown, seeds of love, seeds of compassion, seeds of
Yes.
knowledge, education, all of that. And I'm sure that the rest of your siblings, including, the larger family, is also, as compassionate. So that's great. That's a great story, and thank you for sharing that with us. So with that, one of the biggest reasons why I have you on the show is obviously because you're doing something extremely unique, right? Which is
Right.
the sign language. And the way I look at it, it's just like, somebody learning French or German or Chinese or Japanese.
Yes.
So this is just, one language, right? So
Right.
tell us about how you got introduced to the sign language.
First and foremost, I had no clue about sign language, or I never knew about sign language. So it all started when I got appointed as Junior Project Fellow in Northeast Regional Institute of Education. And I have to mention that this project was under the supervision and guidance of Dr. Melissa Wallang. She is an associate professor, a linguist, and a sign language specialist.
Got it.
So it all started through this project. When I applied, I told myself that I know it's sign language, I know it's something new, but I thought to myself, so what? Let's go for it.
Yeah.
Let's just do it.
Learning is one, right? When you're technically learning it. The second piece of it is utilizing that sign language with a person who can't speak or can't hear. And that is when the real impact happens, right? Because there's
Yes. I was a little bit afraid because I didn't know how to communicate. We had workshops, not for the deaf. And when during that workshop, that was my first encounter with the deaf. So my first encounter with the deaf was that I was enthralled, fascinated, and I did not see them as a person who was disabled or or who had some disability.
Right.
The only difference was the communication. I was confused. First of all, I was lost since I didn't know sign language. But then I watched them so closely. Just 10 days workshop. I used to watch them closely, how they sign, how they interact. Then I understood, and then I started to pick up few signs. And it was important for me to pick up the signs at the beginning because I had to do a lot of data collection on sign language videos. And since I had to travel, so I needed to know some sign language so that I'll be able to communicate. I see that they are very expressive. Yeah, their body, their facial expression, their gestures, it pushes them to be expressive. I enjoyed working with them. My experience with them has always been a good experience. We joke, we laugh. And there's also another thing that's called deaf culture. They have a culture of their own, which is so interesting.
Just like you have the Khasi culture, the Mizo culture,
Right.
the American culture. So, as you explain all of this, what I'm gathering is that there's a lot of curiosity amongst the community. And I love the fact that they're so full of expressions. And now that you're talking about it, when we had Sona on the show,
Yes,
she was really expressive. Would it be right to say that being with them just energizes you and it gives you courage,
yes.
to kind of be out there, right?
It does give a sense of encouragement and
Yeah.
energy. There's so much that needs to be done with these people. There's just because of communication that development has been shut down. So if one is able to communicate, then we can impart knowledge.
One thing has stayed with me from what you just said, because of this one impediment, which is the normal verbal communication versus
Right.
sign communication.
Right.
Much of their development has been stunted, right?
Right.
Is that why you are continuing this, so that you can aid in that development?
I think first thing, whether it's a calling for me or whether it is a purpose for me to do it. Now that is something that I will have to find out. And I feel the more the doors open, the more it's paving my way. Actually, I have interest in this field. When you enjoy something, you tend to stick to it. And I want to work together with the deaf people to empower them or to develop, to help them either get a job, either encourage them to learn, encourage them to be better.
I think what you're essentially doing is really broadening their horizon, letting them know that, there's so much that any person, right, including their community, that each of us can do if we put our heart and soul, whether you can talk or not, whether
Right.
you can hear or not.
Yes.
So I think what you're doing is, let's call it noble. I think it's a very noble thing to do, because you don't have to do it.
Yes.
You can just get your certifications, you can finish your education and just go. But you've chosen to be there in person, to actually feel what they feel, love what they love. So
Right.
what your siblings have been for you is what you are to them.
Right.
And in turn, this chain will keep continuing, right? So I think what you're doing is beautiful.
My involvement in the project, I do give credit to Dr. Melissa WAHLANG for always for being there with me as well. I think she does see something.
No, I'm sure. It's so important to have a leader,
Right.
who has that vision,
Right.
So thank you from Candid with Candy to Dr. Melissa Warlang as well for doing this. I think Adele, you're also working on, certain apps that the government is trying to come up with. So,
Yes.
technology is getting involved, but
Yes.
I think if we needed to be here, right now we're
Right.
here. But
Yes.
with people like yourself, with people like, Dr. Melissa, with people like Sona, who's also, really invested in this, I'm sure this project will go a very long way in helping
Right.
and making a difference in people's lives, right?
Right. That is important.
Yeah. We wish you all the best, Adele.
Thank
And
you so much.
yeah, and I want to let you know that we are so proud of what you're doing. It's absolutely unique. And like you rightly said, it's scary because, like if you choose, for example, to be an engineer or a doctor, you have thousands and
Yes.
thousands and millions of people out there
Yes. Yes.
who have
Yes.
taken that path. But
Yes.
the
True.
path
Yes.
that you take is very, very narrow, and they're very, very
Right.
few people. And hence, you need to be courageous and you need to be brave to do it.
Right.
And you are. So, thank you very much for this, Adele.
Thank you so much, Candy. You have actually motivated me so much, and I'm so glad and grateful to you. And that's what I love about you. You made it sound so easy, and you do things that makes it look so easy.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for that. Welcoming Adele Dora Isaacson Walang. Yes, that's her whole name.
Thank you, Candy.
Yeah, to rapid fire at Candid with Candy. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Who do you admire the most?
I think I would say my dad.
Do you prefer the rain or the sunshine?
I love the sunshine.
Do you have a favorite singer?
Josh Turner.
Where would you go for your dream vacation?
I had always thought about Italy.
Do you have a favorite number?
My favorite number is 7.
What's the first thing you do when you get up in the morning?
I pray.
Do you have a favorite movie?
I like Dirty Dancing.
What is the best compliment you've received so far?
The one you just mentioned, that I'm doing a great job in helping the community. It motivates me. It really does.
And it's come from me.
Yes.
That's so awesome. And, I meant that from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you so much.
It was lovely, lovely to have you.
I'm so glad. I'm so grateful for this opportunity or this chat. I'm so grateful. So thank you.
I hope you enjoyed the chat. For more of such amazing chats, do check out the rest of my videos, and I'll see you guys next week. Till then, take care and God bless.